All right, what's up, everybody? Got a viewer question for you guys today. And the other day, I put up a video on draw, and there were a bunch of questions, kind of sort of similar to this one. But I wanted to go over this question with you guys in this topic. And the topic is essentially this CCW type of holster. So inside the waistband holster, how do you draw out of an inside the waistband holster? And this guy mentioned, what about a holster that is made for CCW? It's tight up against your body so it doesn't print with a long shirt. Get it, I get it. I haven't figured out the fastest way to get my hand on the gun. I think the fastest way is the claw technique to get the thumb over the top of the back of the slide, but I believe they recommend driving the thumb down between the body and the pistol. If you have any advice, much appreciated. Okay, so I think in the very beginning, like, you have to understand, you will be looking for the exact same type of techniques that I talked about with outside the waistband. The gun has to travel in a straight line from the holster to your eye target line, right? And I want to be able to get my hands on the gun as soon as humanly possible. That's not just the firing hand. I want the support hand to get on the gun as soon as humanly possible too. So there's a couple like little techniques that I personally think about when I do this, and it plays to getting the hands on the gun faster or sooner and making the gun go in a straight line from the holster to the eye target line, right? Like I talked about in the last video, like, I like these sort of techniques or principles, so to speak, simply because I don't have to move my hands super fast because of how efficient this is. It is fast simply because of how efficient, just making the gun go in a straight line and getting the hands on the gun sooner actually is. And also, to recap, like, getting the hands on the gun sooner, this is something that I will do with both inside the waistband, outside the waistband. It doesn't really matter. I want a longer period of time to build my grip. This way, when the gun shows up, like, it shows up to the eye target line ready to shred. I don't want to be messing around with my grip, when I'm at full extension. I want to get all of that stuff out of the way, so when I present the gun, it's the exact same every single time. And I think that consistency piece is what we should be definitely keeping an eye on, right? I think, chasing par times, things like that, we'll talk more about that here in a little bit, but I think, trying to go fast, I'm not going to say it's a huge concern or something that I don't practice. I definitely do. However, I think the consistency of the draw, meaning like not only fast, but getting my hands in the same spot and indexing the gun the exact same every single time, I think that's way more beneficial to focus on rather than like, yep, I got that, 0.8 draw. I didn't see the dot, but I got a 0.8 draw, right? Like, I don't think that's really the way to go. So let me stand up here and show you guys kind of what I'm talking about. So some of the techniques that I like to use, right? I like to grab the shirt basically like this. When I grab the shirt like this, it scrunches up from the bottom, right? If I grab it like this, the shirt really doesn't go anywhere, right? So I like to grab at the belly button. That's a kind of a key thing for me. I always know where the belly button is at all times. I feel like anyone can just like look up, touch the belly button. It's like, yep, you know where that is. So I grab at the belly button like this and then scrunch up. And you see how this lifts the shirt up from the bottom. And to me, this is kind of a big deal because I don't have to do as much in terms of lifting this hand up, because just gripping the shirt like this and scrunching it is already lifting it up, right? It's doing half of the job for me. So gripping the shirt like this. Now, I will lift all the way up to the sternum. Do I need to lift all the way up to the sternum every single time? Maybe, maybe not. However, I think it's a really good idea just for that consistency piece, right? Now, I haven't found this to slow me down at all either. So lifting up to the sternum, right? Now, this hand will sit here. The firing hand, I like to index the gun the exact same way that I will index from outside the waistband, where I jam my middle finger into the back of the bottom of the trigger guard, right? This to me puts my hand in the exact same spot every single time. If I do something like try to come down on top of the gun, sometimes I come down here, sometimes down here, sometimes up too high. To me, it's like it's not consistent at all. Therefore, I like to index the exact same way inside the waistband like I do outside the waistband. So it's almost kind of like this little J that I like to do into the back of the gun. Now, the guy asked in the question, what about the claw grip? Man, just being real, I don't like all of these names just because it's like, I feel like it gets people confused, like much like the guy, you know, talking about or asking the question, like, what do I do with this or that? It's like, I don't like talking about these things in terms of like names. I don't name all of this stuff. But I think what he's talking about is riding the thumb high on the back of the back plate on the back of the slide. So like, yes, I will do that. And I don't like to fish the thumb down over the slide, right? Because if I try to do that, it's like the gun just sits in the holster for a little while longer. The other thing that it does is as soon as I try to do that and push down, like you could see what it does to the shoulder comes up. And then if I go to draw and that shoulder is still up, it's like, that's just unwanted tension. So try to stay away from stuff like that. So yes, I will index the gun with the thumb over the top of the back plate on the slide, right? So yes, this is exactly how I go about indexing the gun off of the draw. Now, from here, I think this is where I think I kind of differ from a lot of people, because what I'll try to do from here is as soon as the gun starts clearing the kydex, I take the support hand and push it back down, right? This does two things essentially. Number one, it totally mitigates this whole thing from happening, right? And catching your thumb on the shirt, like it mitigates that from happening. And it also takes my hand and puts it on the gun a whole lot sooner. This way I can just lift a straight line from the holster to the eye target line. So it's more or less getting my hands on the gun a whole lot sooner and getting the grip built sooner. And this to me is like, this is what helps with the consistency piece. If I can get my hands on the gun sooner and just lift in a straight line, it's like the easier everything becomes because I have the grip that I want right from the very beginning. And the index is significantly easier since I've already built my grip down here. And it's like by the time I get to about here, it's like the grip's already built. And then all I need to do is put the gun on the spot that I'm looking at, right? So kind of looks something like this. We'll go like, I don't know, 50% speed. Okay. Kind of something like that. And while I'm doing this, I'm assessing like, all right, are my hands getting on the exact place on the gun that I would like them to? I want my palms to touch in the very back of the frame. Like all of that stuff is important to me. Okay. Now, I think, you know, there comes a point where it's like, all right, I have the technique down. I'm doing these things that you're talking about. How do I make this faster? Because I'm still at like, I don't know, whatever, a 1.5 draw or whatever, right? Whatever dilemma you're in. I think from there, I think it's a good idea to start doing things like racing par times, right? So for me, I've got the par time set on 0.9, right? So 0.9 seconds sounds something like this. Right, feels pretty slow to me. Right, feel like I don't have to move my hands really fast, but I would set the first par time at whatever you feel comfortable drawing the gun, getting the exact grip, doing all of those techniques like properly. Right, set the par time at that. Get 10 or 12 in that par time, and then take a 10th off of the par time. Get 10 or 12 good ones at that par time, take 10 or take a 10th off of that par time, so on and so on and so on. And basically, I want to work my way down all the way down to 0.6. Now, the measure of success here is not pulling the trigger, right? Is not pulling the trigger before the par time beep, right? Like the measure of success here is actually seeing the sight on the spot that you're looking at or near the spot that you're looking at before the second beep, right? So what I see a lot of people do with something like this is they'll do this. Oop, actually got to clear the cover garment, Nick. And it's like, man, I pulled the trigger down here, right? And I pulled the trigger before the second beep, but it's like, I didn't make it. Like that would be a shot in the dirt, right? So again, the measure of success is going to be the dot in front of your face before you pull the trigger, right? Or before the second beep. And I think this is going to really play to all of the targets that you're going to shoot. I think a lot of times, you know, people go like open target, 7 yards, like I want to shoot at this pace. And it's like, I think that's kind of putting the cart before the horse, right? You're kind of putting the goal ahead of the process. And I think the process being get the gun out as efficiently as possible, therefore it is fast. And I think the end goal of that being I have it at my eye target line in a very specific amount of time. Like for me, I think a good goal in terms of time is I have the dot on the target in 0.6 to 0.7 seconds, right? No more than that, right? Because I feel like if you can get it, you know, to your eye target line, actually aimed on the target in 0.6 to 0.7 seconds, the rest is significantly easier, right? Again, the measure of success is not when you pull the trigger before the beep. It's actually seeing the dot near the place that you're looking at, right? So 0.9 seconds, we'll give you guys a couple draws here just to see what that looks like. Okay. Okay, making all that, like that feels really, really easy. From here, I will just take some time off of the par time. All right, so now I'm at 0.8. Try that. Made that one. It's like dots landing right in the center of the alpha. Okay, dots landing in the center of the alpha. That feels pretty relaxed to me too. I don't feel like a ton of tension. I don't feel like the shoulders are coming up. Like it just feels relaxed. That's good. All right, that's kind of how you would want it to feel over time. Okay, so we'll take some more time off. I'll take some like a 20th off just to speed this up. So we'll go all the way down to 0.6. Now 0.6, to me, it's like, that's one of those times where it's like, all right, are we actually going to draw on a target and shoot in 0.6 seconds in live fire? Maybe, but maybe not, right? Most of the time, probably not, right? Especially if you have something like, say, this target or this type of target like 15, right? But like I said, the goal for this would be for the dot to be at my eye target line in 0.6 to 0.7 seconds. If I practice at a really, really fast pace in dry fire, the live fire piece isn't going to feel super fast. So I think, you know, pushing the limits in terms of how fast we're actually going in dry fire, I think is a good thing, right? It'll more or less inoculate you to the way that that speed feels, and then you'll see it start to translate into live fire. Once again, the dry fire piece is like where the majority of the work is done. So 0.6, let's see if we can get that down here. Okay, I made it, but it's like, that's not the grip that I want. Okay, I want my grip to be a very certain way or a very specific way. I don't want that type of grip there, okay? I think this is normal too. As soon as you start pushing the pace and like going faster than what's comfortable for you, it's like you'll start messing up some of this grip. And I think that's good because you'll learn from it, but you're only going to learn from it if you're actually assessing like what you see and feel, right? Like, was that the grip that I wanted? Did the dot land exactly where I was looking or near the spot that I was looking or not? Okay. Nope. Didn't grab at the belly button hard enough. I started jumping the gun. There we go. Support hand didn't get on the gun as soon as I would like it to, so I'm going to focus on that. Really driving the support hand down. There we go. It's like not only did I beat the par time, but I had the exact grip that I wanted. There we go. That landed in kind of the left quadrant of the alpha there, but made it, got the grip that I wanted. We'll do one more. There we go. So you guys get the idea. It's like, start at a time that you feel relatively comfortable making, right? And you start focusing on like just the technique piece. And then when that technique piece gets comfortable at a specific time, start taking the time away and really starting to push the hand speed, right? And I think what you guys will see is not only will you build consistency, but you'll start building the hand speed, and what feels fast, this week, next week won't feel as fast, right? Because you're inoculating yourself to the way that that feels. One thing that I bring up in classes all the time is this. It's like if you were driving on your way home from work and there's one specific turn that you take doing 55, but today you're going to go 80. Right? It might feel really freaking fast because you're used to only going 55. Now, you don't die, you make it around the turn doing 80. Tomorrow, you're going to do the exact same thing. And then you do the exact same thing for a month. And I think what you'll start noticing is like 80 at the end of the month really doesn't feel fast anymore. And what really doesn't feel fast anymore is 55. So I think, going faster in your dry fire practice and pushing the pace, and not just pushing the pace just arbitrarily, hey, I'm just going to try to go fast, but pushing the pace to maybe bring up some tension, figure out how to deal with that, make that go away at speed while you are trying to be very consistent with your grip and your index, I think is a really good thing. So again, kind of to recap, pull the shirt up right at the belly button like this, right? J hook into the bottom of the grip like that. As you pull the gun up, drive this hand down, build the grip, and just push out in a straight line with the gun flat like this. I'm not going to, draw it up like that or any of that stuff. Gun comes out and then lifts flat to the eye target line. I think, what you guys will find is that is basically going to be, one of the most efficient ways to draw from inside the waistband because of how, consistent and efficient it is, right? It will be faster because of how efficient it is. So that's what I got on AIWB draw. Let me know if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns in the comment box below.